History of Political Science. The Encyclopedia of Political Science. Origin and development of the modern state system. The sovereign and territorial state is definitely not a permanent feature of history. It has developed as an outcome of 16th and 17th centuries of European history. Out of the medieval struggle between the religious and secular power and between the feudal barons and dynastic royalty, gradually developed the institution of the sovereign, secular, and nation-state. The rise of the modern sovereign state simultaneously marked the end of feudalism and medieval unity, based on the supremacy of the Roman Catholic Church and the Holy Roman Empire. It initiated a new type of identity and consciousness of a sovereign political community. The modern sovereign state, it is generally contended by scholars, owes its beginning to the Treaty of Westphalia. But this does not mean that states were not existing before. One can find important instances of Greek city-states and both Oriental-Occidental dynastic empires during and after the ancient world. The idea of nation-state with sovereignty and some sort of an interstate system, resting upon some mutual higher ideas and values was, however, not prevalent prior to the 17th century. The major landmarks of and factors contributing towards the development of the sovereign state system are briefly touched upon as under. 1. The development of the nation-state system was characterized by 4 historic events running from 17th to 20th century. These are the 1648 Treaty of Westphalia, Germany, the 1713 Treaty of Utrecht, Holland, the 1815 the Congress of Vienna, Austria, and the 191 Treaty of Versailles, France. 2. The disintegration of the religious and political empires, and the institution of feudalism. 3. The birth of nation-states on the basis of territory, population, sovereignty, and law besides common heritage, culture, aspirations, language, literature, etc. 4. The state system, though a worldwide phenomenon in consequence, was essentially a European development with all Western characteristics. 5. The increase in the number of the nations joining the system, and the gradual widening of the system so as to embrace besides Europe where the system was originated the continents of America, Australia, Asia, and Africa. 6. The theoretical or intellectual contribution of thinkers like Machiavelli, Bodin, Grotius, Hobbes, Althusius, Luther, Calvin, and others laid the foundations of an independent, secular nation-state. 7. The progressive assumption and practice by the nation-states of the features like territoriality, sovereignty, nationalism, national power, diplomacy, balance of power, collective security, etc. 8. The invention of new military techniques was also responsible for the rise of the modern state. Besides, the development of modern techniques of administration, which has given to the governments the ability to have greater control over their people. 9. Development of the means of transport and communication has given states a greater unity, and has also facilitated the consolidation of central power. Economic progress has provided more national wealth and resources at the disposal of governments. 10. Finally, the nationalism has helped the state in getting more loyalty and devotion from its people, thus making it more strong and powerful. With the rise of nationalism, citizens became more deeply involved in the affairs of their state. It was no more feasible for the statesman to trade territories on the basis of ancient titles or strategic considerations. Now the ethnic or linguistic affinity or common aspirations were regarded as the legitimate basis for the organization of the state. Further growth of and change in the state system further developed, and its nature changed in the 20th century, and especially in the post-World War period. Notable changes that took place in the nature of state system, and that developed it further from classical to modern lines are: global nature. After the Second World War, the nation-state system has so internationalized that it has become global. Now it includes nations big and small, powerful and less powerful of all the continents such as Europe, America, Africa, Asia, and Australia. The extension of the system of Asia and Africa has been spectacular, and has brought about far-reaching changes in the system owing to the rapid process of decolonization after the Second World War. A large number of free and sovereign states have emerged in Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The number of the states has greatly multiplied, and now there are more than 180 nation-states. These countries present phenomenal proportions both in terms of area and population. Role of new nations. Newly independent nations of Asia, Africa, and Latin America are too numerous, populous, and as seen in recent years too influential to be ignored. They have carved out an important role for themselves in international relations. These new nations have considerably enlarged the membership of the UNO. They have already made their presence felt inside and outside this world body. They have reacted sharply and positively not only to sensitive question of colonialism, racialism, and new economic world order, but also to the more basic issues of world peace and disarmament. What is more, the new nations have figured significantly in the foreign policy calculations of the traditional members of the state system. For example, Afghanistan and India were factors in the foreign policy of the USSR, whereas Israel, Kuwait, Pakistan are in the foreign policy of the USA. The center of international relations has shifted from the old world to the new world, from the US-European state system to the Afro-Asian state system as well. Non-Western traditions. As a corollary of the above two developments, the universality of the European state system is also under doubt. The Asian tradition and other non-Western traditions of the statecraft have come to the light and left significant impact on the course of state and nation building in the post-war scenario. China and Japan are two essentially non-Western state systems. India too has a distinct tradition, e.g. Kautilya's and Gandhi's, of state building. New states have also put forward a new third world perspective in international relations and contributed towards the process of bipolarization, multipolarization, non-alignment, north-south dialogue, etc. Techniques of warfare. The development of a total warfare in the 19th and 20th centuries, which involves extensive civilian mobilization, has also altered the nature of the classical state system. The character of war has been continuously changing ever since. It is becoming more and more effective, sophisticated, and far-reaching. The new factors which have changed the nature of war as well as of international system are economic warfare, ideological political penetration, air warfare, missile warfare, atomic warfare, and warfare like Star War programmer. These developments have altered significantly the territorial power and sovereignty of the states. Now no state of the globe can be regarded as absolutely impermeable. When the impenetrability of the state is challenged, the principle of territoriality and sovereignty is undergoing a great transition. Ideology. The advent of ideologies have also transformed the character of the classical state system. In the preceding centuries, the states were mainly motivated by territorial objectives. In the 20th century, many wars were fought in support of or against a particular ideology, such as Nazism, communism, and liberal democracy. For the sake of ideology, several states sacrificed the principle of territory and sovereignty. Changed balance of power. With the internationalization of the nation-state system, the balance of power and collective security have undergone significant changes. Before the First World War, balance of power was mainly a European phenomenon. Later on came international or global balance of power. Moreover, balance of power can no longer be maintained by one nation, as it had been held by Britain from 17th to 19th century. Present balance of power is held by the US and Russia primarily, and by China and non-aligned countries secondarily. Now balance of power is multi-centric and not unicentric as it was before. But by early 90s it has been argued by many scholars that after the decline of Soviet power and successful US operation of vacating Kuwait from Iraq, it appears that the world is again heading towards unicentric balance of power. Anyhow, the concept of collective security also has assumed global character as against its purely European character until World War II. In the post-war period, collective security system claims to function under the worldwide organization, the UN. Democratization and mass participation, the states and their foreign policy, diplomacy, war, disarmament, etc., as well as international law and international organization have undergone increasing democratization in the sense that masses are being increasingly associated or involved with the working and results of the institutions. Owing to the spread of education, the citizens' interest in national affairs, and development of the means of transport and communication, the making and conduct of foreign policy are increasingly sought to be controlled by people at large. there has been a great endeavor to make diplomacy honest and open. The factor of mass participation is often used by the governments for military and diplomatic bargaining, and states mobilize the popular support in favor of their diplomacy or wars. People the world over influence and urge politicians, statesmen, and diplomats towards the goals of peacekeeping, disarmament, avoidance of war, pacific settlement of international disputes, observance of international law, and promotion of international organizations like UN. This participation or involvement of the common people also imposed restrictions on state actions. As a result, even the most autocratic regimes could not ignore public opinion while making foreign policy. Technology, in an age of transition, technology and the speed of change have helped to consolidate human organization and loyalty behind one familiar institution, i.e. the nation-state. Technology both simplifies and complicates the formulation and resolution of the problems of nation-states, as well as international politics. Continuance of the nation-state, in classical form, is challenged by the preponderant influence of the new technology. The dangerous effect of a nuclear war would endanger the longevity of the sovereign state and bring in a period of uncertain balance of terror. The present nation-state system is afflicted with the fact that all major nations which industrialized during this century had a long span of totalitarian dictatorship. The scientific technological process has created adverse conditions in less developed states for liberal politics and democracy. The evolution of totalitarianism in the nation-state system has chauvinistic overtones which could be harmful for the growth of multiculturalism. Modern political power and modern technology are highly intermingled, and the capacity of a state to fulfill its national interests relies on the extent to which mastered contemporary techniques. Non-state performers. The coming of non-state actors on the international scene has broken the monopoly of the state system. The multinationals and transnational organizations have greatly affected world economy to which nation-states cannot remain indifferent. In the political field also the non-states are playing a significant role, e.g. the P.L.O, the Kurdish, the Basques, the Tamils, and the Welsh non-state performers. To some extent these non-state actors have eroded the state system as well as national sovereignty. At the same time, they have facilitated global concerns which are equally shared by both state and non-state performers. The phenomenon of non-state performers have reduced the state system to such an extent that it is no longer an exclusive factor in international relations. It can at best be regarded as one of the factors. However, it remains an outstanding factor.